Raiders, welcome back. It is Friday Eve. Yes, right, it's Friday Eve. Welcome back to Celebrity Court. Tonight's episode is titled Secrets, Scandals, in the Shadow of Power. All right, joining us tonight, we have our men's nights only, but I'm going to tell you about the cases first. But tonight, we have all men counselors joining us on the panel tonight. Let's see who's joined us in the chat so far. Let's see what algoritms are here. Groom U Media One, Atlanta, welcome back. WVF 99, welcome back. Tanya McNeil, always good to see that face. Charlene Lambert, where you been? I didn't see you on Tuesday. Welcome back. Tia Russell, welcome back. Nisha Phillips, always great to see your name when we sign in. Brenda K, welcome back. Tia Russell, hi. Okay. Brian and Simone Adams, welcome back. Ida Ta, I always mess it up. You know I'm going to mess it up. That's just my thing. I mess it up. Welcome back, though. We love having you. JP Mills, always good to see your name. And Danielle Cameron, you know it's not a show without you here. SL Warrior, welcome back. Essie Stone, welcome. Who else? NY Mari, welcome. Pisces Unicorn, welcome. Rizland 11, welcome. Teray Mary, welcome. Who Christine R. A show would not be the same without you. Thank you so much and welcome. Everybody, tonight, the scandals are global. The stakes are outrageous. And the receipts, child, they are explosive. Ghislaine Maxwell's secret emails are being cracked open, and suddenly Trump's name is floating around like Epstein's scandal, like a balloon at a parade nobody asked for. Rosie O'Donnell is pleading for prayer after her daughter is sentenced to prison, and the internet has thoughts, a lot of them, including questions about America's broken system for addiction, youth, and second chances. Now, Antonio Brown, yep, you remember that once superstar NFL legend? Guess what? Now he's an alleged attempted murderer. He's out on bond and out here trying to convince us all he's just misunderstood. And for our human interest story, which is a new segment of our show, tonight we're going to talk about, do you remember the crypto queen? Do you remember Ruja Ignatova? Well, guess what? She's still missing. Remember, she stole billions. Victims were worldwide, and the woman who pulled off the biggest financial scam in history is vanished like she invented HoudiniCon. Tonight, the tea is federal, the drama is international, and guess what? As always, the truth is still on trial. I'm George Al Reynolds, and baby, court is now in session. Let me introduce our legal beagles. We have joining us tonight Brian Ross, Sean Carter, and Jason Weiss. Gentlemen, welcome to Men's Night here on Celebrity Court.
Thank you very much.
Is it
I guess we got to buy all our own drinks, huh?
You gotta. Well, listen, I definitely got mine. So if you are, be sure to sip responsibly because I won't be sipping responsibly. All right. All right, everybody, let's get this started. All right, case number one is Ghislaine Maxwell. We're looking at emails. We're looking at Epstein, and an elite group is being exposed. Now, the House Democrats released new batches of Ghislaine Maxwell's unsealed email communications, messages that reference Jeffrey Epstein's network. And guess what? Hot off the press, but we all knew, includes mentions of Donald Trump, yes, our president, and other high-profile figures. The emails aren't criminal charges, but they might create new investigative trails or reopen old ones. I'm going to throw to you first, Jason Weiss, because I need to know what happens in this case when sealed evidence from a criminal case is publicly released.
Really, what happens is nothing, right? We all get to feast on this material. We get to read about how the emails and how it is saying that Mr. Trump and President Trump knew all of these things, that he was aware, that he knew things that were going on. So we get to read about it. We get to hear about it. Now, is there a chance that a federal or state prosecutor can use these emails to open investigations? Sure, right? There's nothing preventing that from happening. What's the likelihood? Very minimal.
Got it. All right, let's go to our criminal defense attorney because you're not giving me anything. Brian Ross, is there a crime here? I need to know, is there a crime here? Is this a crime in public opinion or is this a crime in courtrooms? What is like is it at this stage? This is just a smear campaign against a man who we already know is a criminal, or what's going on? Did we find anything in these emails that suggests that any type of criminal charges can be brought forward?
Not yet, right? And there's still more to be released. You have to go back in time and look at this. The Attorney General for the United States of America is a woman named Pam Bondi. Love her or hate her, she's actually not a bad lawyer. She went to President Trump this summer in the spring and told him, you have a problem. Your name is all over Epstein files. So he's been fighting tooth and nail not to let it come out. We haven't seen everything, but I guarantee you Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer have, which is why they're pushing it. And let me tell you something. If you are at a liquor store and you match the description of someone who allegedly robbed that liquor store and the police approach you and you run away and they later catch you, they can use the fact that you ran away as evidence of your guilty conscience at trial. How come Trump, who claims to be the law enforcement man of the year, won't release the records? To me, it's loosely evidence of a guilty conscience. Release the records. Why are you fighting so hard? If you didn't do anything wrong, you have nothing to hide.
All right, let's go to you, Sean Carter. Sean, help me understand this, please. If something does come up, we know that the Department of Justice does not support a sitting president being charged criminally while in office. Right. So what does the next step, because and I know the algorithms probably feel the same way I do. I just feel like he's been found guilty of everything, 34 counts, 88 charges. He's been found guilty of a sexual assault. What is it going to take? So is the most that we're going to get out of this is an impeachment proceeding, maybe, if something is found in those documents or in those emails that are criminal, because we're not going to charge him with anything until he comes out of the office? How does that work, and what are your thoughts on this?
You summed it up exactly. All right. There is, it's longstanding policy that, the Justice Department, the last person they're going to prosecute, all right, is the president. But even more, this particular Justice Department, remember that Pam Bondi it was not some government worker. That was his personal lawyer. All right. That's a person who's been riding with him forever. There is nothing that is ever going to happen where she's going to charge him. And in fairness, right now, the stuff we have is damning. It shows that he knew what Epstein was doing, at least that allegedly, but it doesn't say that he was involved in it yet. So it isn't a crime, by the way, to know that your friend is kind of janky and to not report him, right? And so he didn't have an obligation to do that. So right now, all we have is a political solution, and the problem there is that the House Republicans are riding by him. Not only could he not get convicted in the Senate, which takes a 2/3 vote, he can't even get the first vote in the House for impeachment, right? At least until the midterms, and even then, it would be tough. It's just not. I don't know why. I mean, we want to know because it's kind of salacious and whatever, but I already know that. Here's the thing is, if your best friend for 20 years is into some shady stuff, you're likely kind of into it too. At least you know it, right? You can't hide nothing from your best friend for 25 years, right? And so the bottom line is that we already know everything there is to know here, but unfortunately for us, Trump is sort of Teflon.
All right, let's go to all the lawyers. Let me ask you guys this. Does the public have a right to see evidence from closed cases involving systemic abuse like the Epstein, what they're claiming in the Epstein? And what's the effect that it could have on other big names when their names are exposed? Do they have any legal ramification? Can they sue for defamation or something?
I mean, this case is humongous. And Jason, I see you shaking your head, but you got to think, Judge. This case got Prince Andrew stripped of all of his royal titles. That means he don't get to wear the colors on his shirt. He don't get to sit VIP at the parade no more. He don't get the paycheck. I mean, the man, they stripped him. So whatever is in those files is damaging, right?
Got it.
And you don't go like Attorney Carter says, you don't run with your boy for 20 years and don't get dirty too. You eventually you're gonna give him a ride somewhere. So if it's released, yeah, there's a chance that it could really hurt Trump. I mean, badly, depending on what comes out of there. Now, one thing I want your algorithms to do is when you pay attention to Fox News like me, you have to understand that the president was granted immunity last year. Was it earlier this year? The Supreme Court said you have qualified immunity for a lot of things. So I'm not even sure that if it was released, that he'd be convicted.
Got it. So in essence, let's be honest, this case isn't about emails. It's about America's addiction, in particular our president's addiction to power, privilege, and protecting other elites, right? Is that pretty much what we're saying here?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Sure,
and no defamation is going to come from those emails, because those emails were between the two of them. They're not the ones that are publishing those emails for other people. I mean, could they make a stretch and say that you released an email that had my name in it, so you, federal government, have defamed me? Yeah, not going to happen. So there's really no defamation coming from this.
Well, that's even worse. Every time Epstein's name trends, I bet you there's a billionaire somewhere shaking in their boots.
Yep.
All right. Well,
for real, a lot of them.
And I don't have billions, so I'm not shaking it up.
That's interesting. These emails are shaking trees in places where the branches never break, because the money keeps them sturdy, but money can't save you from shame, unfortunately. All right. And speaking of broken branches, Rosie O'Donnell's daughter's story reminds us that fame doesn't protect your family when the justice system decides it's your turn. All right. Rosie O'Donnell publicly begged for prayers after her 21-year-old daughter, Dakota, was sentenced to prison following substance abuse-related charges, as well as probation violations. Social media erupted. Some were sympathetic, but others were quite critical. All right, Sean Carter, please explain to us what's going on with Dakota. And are courts too punitive towards young adults facing addiction? And do you think there should be a different process and a different outcome instead of prison?
Well, absolutely. And what ended up happening with Dakota is that in November of last year, she started getting in a lot of trouble. And I think we might have a picture that will show that I think all the algorithms should know this. Meth is not your friend. All right. You might want to try crack, something else. All right. But meth is not going to be your friend. And she gets arrested like 3 times in a month. And for, meth and child endangerment and all that type of stuff. She's got a little kid. And so they say she finally bring her to trial in May, and they say, okay, she pleads and says, I'm going to get 18 months in jail, suspended, and I'm taking 6 years probation. And within weeks later, she's back doing what she was doing, because that's kind of how addiction works. And so unfortunately for her, the judge says, well, when you violate probation, then you've got to go to jail and usually the presumption is for every time you got. So, for instance, if you get a 5-year sentence and they let you out on suspended sentence, but you break probation, then guess what? You got to do the 5. So it looks like she's going to do 18 months, and we'll see how much more she has to do than that. So Rosie is obviously distraught. I'd be distraught. If I don't see my kids, if they don't come back home on the weekend, in a month, I'm upset. All right. So I know it's got to be hard on her. And unfortunately, our system is really bad with dealing with addiction. It's a disease, but we treat it like it's a moral failing. And as a result, the idea is, okay, you have this illness, and what we're going to do is we're going to put you in this horrible place that has almost no treatment options with people who have that same addiction, but also tend to be kind of crooks and shady, and work it out.
Right.
And it doesn't work out well.
Right. Attorney Ross, you've worked out of the Miami courthouse for quite a number of years, and you've seen a lot of this type of activity, especially because, Miami happens to attract a whole bunch of this. Tell us, what do you think the courts should do, or tell us what the algorithms need to know as it relates to the courts not really caring when it comes to having empathy, even though these young people are strung out on drugs. What should the algorithms keep in mind as they understand the court system as it relates to addiction in the youth?
first thing you have to understand is that when you're in the system, you are in the system. So to me, you look at this young lady, she was never a good candidate for probation because she has an addiction. When you're on probation algoriters for a drug-related offense, right?
You can't do anything.
You can't do anything. You got to take a urine test. Look at Diddy. He got caught drinking toilet wine, right? You can't do anything, right? You can't. You have to take a urine test. And those urine tests, Judge, they're the real urine tests. So if you're going to go in there with that little drink, you think it's going to clean your system, it's going to fail. Like, that will not help you. Like, so she was a bad candidate for probation from the beginning. She set herself up. I'm sure her lawyer told her, look, just go do the 30 days in jail and we'll be done with it. And she said, no, I can't go to jail. I can do probation. But then she gets caught the next month with methamphetamine. So when you're in the system, you're in the system. I'm gonna give you a little different take on it, though, Judge and Attorney Carter. He's brilliant. I've seen cases where the judge is looking at this kid and saying, if I don't keep you from yourself, you're gonna die. Mm-hmm. Right? Sometimes putting a person who has this severe of an addiction in jail, if they take advantage of the programs in jail, there are programs in jail that you can take advantage of if you go. Yep. They can help this person get a restart in life. And when she asks for prayers, that's what I'm praying for. I'm praying that this young lady gets a restart because it's sad. Because this person has had access to everything.
Right.
That's the problem. Access to everything. And so I hope she gets better because these pictures of her don't look good at all.
Right. Jason, let me ask you really quickly. Does the child of a celebrity face harsher, lighter, or simply different consequences when it comes to being in the legal system?
I think they face the exact same, circumstances instead of facts. She's obviously getting no preferential treatment here. She is, she's been in and out of the system. The only thing that I think that the child of a celebrity or someone related to a celebrity gets is that extra exposure, right? Mm-hmm. If this was my kid, your kid, Brian's kid, nobody would know about it. If it were Sean Carter's kid, we'd all know about it because he'd be on Instagram and Facebook out there. So look, Rosie has this platform that she's got all of these people that will listen to her. They look up to her, they hate her, they love her, whatever it is. So she can put that out there. But she needed to know that when she put that out there, she's going to get both positive, we're so sorry, we love you, we pray for you, God bless you, and she's going to get the negative. Mm-hmm. Why are you using your celebrity status to do this? This celebrity status did absolutely nothing for her daughter's case. Maybe it allowed her to get probation, but like Attorney Ross said, there is no reason why she should have gotten in probation in the first place because she didn't qualify. Gotcha. And it was her decision. And it had nothing to do with the celebrity status.
I agree with Brenda Kay. She says it's always extremely sad to have a loved one going through any form of addiction. It's horrible, but they have to want to make a change, wish them well. America loves judging parents, especially famous ones. But let's talk about the real tragedy, I think, in this case, in my head from listening to you guys, is that our criminal system treats addiction like a crime instead of a condition. And maybe that's where the rehab has to start, right?
Absolutely. Maybe. I want to say first and foremost, this is the most important part here, is y'all need to get off Diddy, all right? And Diddy drank in jail, but you know what? Diddy been drinking Ciroc before that. If I had to drink Ciroc, I'd be drinking toilet water too. All right, so let that man have his toilet water. Get off that.
What am I drinking? I'm drinking vodka now. I don't think it's Ciroc though.
I hope not. Otherwise, you get in the toilet and get you some better stuff.
All right, Rosie asked for prayers, but what Dakota needed was a system that believes in treatment over trauma. Jail doesn't cure addiction; it just delays the relapse. All right. Now we're moving from heartbreak to pure chaos. Antonio Brown is back in the headlines. Oh my gosh, this guy. But this time, it's not for footballs he's throwing. It's allegedly fists with felony consequences. The former NFL star has been released on bond following an arrest for attempted murder after a violent confrontation in Miami. Authorities say someone was hospitalized after the alleged altercation, and Brown's camp somebody's moving. And Brown's camp denies wrongdoing. Bailiff, take it away. Let's see the fight first.
Yo, JB outside. Oh,
Oh,
oh, oh, oh.
Hey, don't let no one else in the gate. Hey.
You got shot?
okay. Before I throw to you, Brian, because this is in Miami, I believe, or in Florida
It is.
somewhere.
It's always in Miami.
Before I throw to you, Brian, Sean Carter, can you tell us exactly what happened? Because from my understanding, not only did a scuffle break out, but the gun that Antonio got a hold of, he took it from a security guy or someone working at the club. Can you talk to us about what actually happened and what led up to this?
Yeah, and that video is somewhat confusing. Antonio Brown says that these two guys tried to jack him for his jewelry. And so he's trying to fight him off, etc. And finally, the fight gets broken up because security comes. And when security comes, he then grabs the security guy's gun and goes, you can see him running out for the parking lot and just shooting. Now, fortunately, you know, he's black like us, and so he don't practice shooting. And so he don't know how to hit anybody. But, you know, he's holding the gun sideways. That's not even a thing. And so fortunately, but somebody actually did get hurt, but nobody got killed, and they're now charging him with attempted murder.
Wow. Okay, let's go to you, Attorney Ross. Now that we have that background information, how does a judge determine bail for someone like him who has this long history, has rap sheet of legal problems? How did he get out so soon and so fast?
The prosecutors try to make him stay, right? But he's in front of Judge Mindy Glazer, who's a nice lady. She really is. And she sees a lot of stuff, okay? So his lawyer, Mark Eiglish, real nice guy, lawyer for the Stars, gets him a bond of, get this, $25,000, which is really amazing.
For an attempted murder?
For attempted murder, and he has to wear ankle GPS monitors. He's one of them dudes walking around the mall with an ankle monitor on instead of wearing jeans and wearing shorts. You can see it, okay? But so he's believe it or not, in Florida, the attempted murder charge is 15 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. At the max, not life, right? Because no one died. Okay. And he could probably get less than that. So she had a right. You'd have a right to get out of jail on this one. His lawyer didn't get that.
Attorney Wise, could this case realistically lead to a long prison sentence?
Realistically, sure. But in reality, no, it's not going to. I mean, look, if Attorney Ross said that he has a good lawyer, that means he's got a good lawyer. And Attorney Ross is like, yeah, I can get him for less than 5. So I'm sure that's what he's going to do. But, you know, so look, will he possibly get some jail time? Maybe. Will he, get 15 years? Absolutely not.
Judge, can I say one thing?
Sure.
Looking at that video, right, and maybe the state attorney has more video cameras than we have. Maybe they found people got cell phones. Maybe they found videos on the bank across the street. So I can't go beyond that. And I haven't seen the affidavit because it hasn't been released yet. However, looking at that video, it is inconclusive as to the issue of whether Antonio Brown had a right to invoke what's called stand your ground. Right? It used to be under what's called common law, called the Castle Doctrine. Somebody try and break in your house and steal Sean Carter's Rolex at 3 a.m. Your home is your castle. You beat them up with a stick and they die. You get off. It's not murder. That law has been codified in Florida under statute 776.012 and 776.032, both of which stand for the same proposition that you don't have to retreat from your space. Remember, it was limited to your house. And they expanded it to the space. So you're at the gas station. Someone comes up and tries to steal your Kia. You don't have to run away. You can shoot them. And remember, Florida is an open carry state, right? So you can possess a gun and stand your ground. Stand your ground is an absolute defense to the offensive charge of attempted murder. The question of fact becomes, did he have a chance to cool off? You don't stand your ground when you go to your house and you catch your girlfriend making out with your best friend, go home to your mama house, sit there for an hour, and then come back and kill him. That's not the way it works. Gotcha. You have a cooling off question. And looking at the video and listening to the gunshots and seeing the melee, to me, it sounds like he has a plausible stand your ground motion. We'll have to see where it goes.
Wow, that's really crazy.
You go to the grocery store in Florida, and there's people with guns on their hips and the bolster, and that's okay. And the castle doctrine used to be that if somebody was coming into your house and they're running from your house and they get off your front porch and they're out the front and you fire shots, you quickly look left, you look right, you make sure none of your neighbors are there, and you pull their butt back into the house, and you're like, "That's where I found them." Then you were able to protect your castle, and Brian's probably laughing because he remembers that scenario from last time.
Now, what I find so interesting is that Antonio Brown has more open cases than he has touchdowns in the last week.
That's about right.
That's just so weird to me. All right.
Let me tell you, this is one of those things.
Go ahead, Sean.
Like always, it's only Florida. All right. I'm in Arizona. And here's what I mean by this. Think about, the prosecution, by the way, didn't even push really hard for, a no bail. This is a man, remember, this happened in May. The reason he's only being arrested now is because he was in Dubai for the last 6 months. Right. He already done run, and they're like, "Oh, he won't run again." Please, all right, I'm running just in case I was around that thing. All right, and so the prosecutor's like, "Whatever." I'm not sure they're going to win this case. But also the other argument there is that, like you said, Attorney Ross said, it's a cooling off period, and we don't see them charging at him and him pulling the gun and shooting, but rather him running after them. They're in the parking lot,
right?
And even if they had gotten his jewelry, which I'm not sure they did, but you can't go and run and gun somebody down for your property.
Can't chase him down.
Right. You can't chase him down. And so
he was definitely chasing.
But it's Florida, right? They'd probably make him mayor or governor. But anywhere else, you going to jail.
All right, everybody. Before we go from football chaos to international fraud, be sure to hit that like button. We hope you're enjoying the show tonight. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're already subscribed. Be sure to hit that share button and invite some friends over because the men have showed out tonight. Also, don't forget to continue to jump down in those comments and turn on your notifications. As I said, from football chaos to international fraud, the crypto queen is still out here living what? Her best life. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego life? All right, case number 4, Ruja, the OneCoin founder, conned the world out of billions before disappearing in 2017. And guess what, everybody? She is still missing, and it's going on almost 9 years. Now, the FBI is offering $5 million for information leading to her capture. Oh, wait, Attorney Ross, help me understand this. Now, FBI can't find somebody who stole billions of dollars from millions of people. How difficult is it to prosecute a crime involving dozens of countries and billions in stolen funds? Nobody can find this woman.
Apparently, it's harder than it looks, right? Because they can't. I mean, I'm looking at her picture. She's all right. I holler at her. She can stay with me. You know what I'm saying? I got you, And, you're a pretty woman with a couple $1 billion. You might have gotten a little
little work,
mascara workout, a little face job. You change your hair up and you stand somewhere in the middle. You probably got a cool woman, Russell Simmons in the Philippines. I don't know
exactly. Or she's no longer Ruja. She's now Raul. That's very possible.
All right, Jason, you taking it to a whole new level. Attorney Carter, let me ask you this. One thing she can do is she can change her face, but she can't change her fingerprints.
When's the last time you got fingerprinting, Your Honor? Nobody don't do that. They don't do that in the store, right? So you're pretty good. Now, by the way, we got to let the algorithms understand this because I didn't know a lot about this OneCoin lady, and this is an amazing person. I'm not saying anyone should ever, all right, do a scam. But if you are going to do a scam, you need to take this woman's course, all right? She did not just sell cryptocurrency that wasn't really cryptocurrency. She actually had classes around it and community. So you took the class and then you were supposed to get some more crypto. She had people all over the country in groups, and they built a whole community around getting scammed, all right? Now you say, well, how do you hide out, right? If you steal the money. So and then think about it. Everybody else who does this, all right, that's the Nexium scam, by the way, was just like this. And he went to jail. So she did 2 things that are smart. One, you don't sleep with everybody. All right, you don't do that. All right, that solves it. So if you're a woman, you can get away with this. As a man, you're probably going to do that. And secondly, all right, She got out, right? $4 billion. I'm taking my money and running. She didn't get greedy, right? $4 billion was enough for her.
That's a lot. $4 billion is greed, ain't it?
And if you leave with $4 billion, guess what? You don't have to live in a cave somewhere. You don't have to do Osama bin Laden. You can go right to the middle of a poor country, and they will treat you like royalty. Why? Because you bring in $4 billion.
Okay, I got it. But don't you have a digital footprint of moving the money that you stole from thousands of people? I'm just so confused why we can't find. I don't get it. This is not making any sense to me. It's not making any sense to me that this woman has been missing going on 9 years. Nobody can find her. But I do want to ask this question to the lawyers. Nisha Phillips says that she thought after 7 years, if you're not caught, you're free. Is this true or is this lies?
No.
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 That might be you could file bankruptcy a second time after 7 years.
Because sometimes it's a statute of limitations for a crime. But if you run, they stop the statute of limitations.
Yep.
So if they don't catch you within 7 years, but they caught you earlier and then you just ran away, then they just say, okay, we'll wait until you come back. Time out. And whenever you come back, then we'll start the clock again. So yes, there are times in which you can get away with things if nobody caught you for a long time. But if you got caught pretty early, and she got caught as soon as she ran, if you run away with $4 billion, somebody gonna notice, right? So she was caught then, and so the statute every hour since then, there's no more time is going off.
Correct.
As soon as they started catch her again,
they call it the tolling of the statute of limitations. The tolling means it's stopped, it's paused, and then when the opportunity comes and they find her, they hit play again and they get all that time.
This is crazy to me. This woman stole billions and evaporated. Meanwhile, you see a little black kid steals a pack of gum and they get put on probation.
The problem, the little black kid ain't got $4 billion. That's the problem. If he had $4 billion, he might.
No, and Your Honor, I did the same question. I used to ask somebody about this. And they explained that, you know what, you're right. If you could steal a little bit amount of money and you stay in the country, they'll definitely find you. But imagine how hard it would be and how much money someone's gonna have to spend, some government's gonna have to spend to try to track her down with all those, she didn't just send the money to one place, right? She sent it to this place, to that place, to that place, to this place. They got to go and get court orders in this country to then get money to find out from here. And no government really has enough of an individual incentive, right, to go and do all that work. And the people who have her are happy to have her. And by the way, my house is for $4 billion, you can stay.
That lady is down in Live nightclub in Miami.
Club 11, huh?
I'm telling you, she ain't a lady anymore.
Look at this lady, man. Wow.
She's a man. I'm telling you.
Oh,
I am not going to get caught on TV saying that. Okay. Algoriters, it's that time where we go to you to decide the verdict of tonight's criminals. All right. First up, it's your time to rule. Ghislaine Maxwell's emails. Is she guilty or not guilty of exposing the powerful? Drop down in the chat. Is she guilty or not guilty of exposing the powerful? Attorney Weiss, what say you?
She is guilty of exposing the powerful, and she's also guilty of getting preferential treatment, sitting in Fed pen.
That's right. All right, Attorney Carter.
Absolutely. She's guilty, but unfortunately, she's the only one who's going to be found guilty because everybody else is probably getting off.
All right, Attorney Brian Ross.
absolutely guilty.
All right, I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court. We're going to find Ghislaine Maxwell guilty not only of exposing the powerful, but guilty of being a dirty, dirty, dirty little woman taking advantage of those little girls. That's just nasty. Everything about it is nasty, and I hope you rot in jail. Anyway, next up, Rosie O'Donnell's daughter. Is she guilty? Is Dakota guilty or not guilty of a system that punishes sickness, or is she guilty because she's a criminal? Attorney Ross, what say you?
She's guilty because she's a criminal.
All right. Attorney Weiss?
She's guilty because she's a criminal, but she does need our help, and she should get that help.
100%.
Attorney Carter?
I don't know. I wouldn't go so far as to say criminal. Did she break the law? Yeah. But you know what? I broke the law once or twice myself. I'm not telling you how. And so, someone has an addiction. I think we should probably get her some help. And maybe the best place is not in an orange jumpsuit. But I'm a bleeding heart liberal that way.
All right, I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court, and we're going to find Dakota guilty. Guilty is charged. Until we do a system that is going to prioritize addiction, she should be treated like everybody else who is a criminal and who breaks the law. All right, Antonio Brown, is he guilty or not guilty of being a danger to society? Attorney Weiss, what say you?
Danger, Will Robinson, danger. That's all I got to say.
Attorney Carter?
He's guilty of being the worst fugitive ever. Brother, when you run on a lamb, you got one job, all right? And you, instead of, and the job is not to be on Instagram. That fool was posting from Dubai. That's how we got him, all right, through Instagram. And so, brother, when you leave again, and you will, don't leave the IG behind.
Right. All right, Attorney Ross.
He's guilty, but the Dolphins need a wide receiver. We'd sign him right now. So. We got a couple years, 2-7. Probably get him for a deal right now. You know what I'm saying?
I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge here. We're going to find him guilty. He's just guilty of being a menace to society for no reason. He's been treated well. He's a stellar athlete, has made tons of money. I'm just going to find him guilty for making dumb decisions and acting erratic. All right, last up, Ruja Ignatova. Is she guilty or not guilty of being the greatest scammer alive? Attorney Ross, what say you?
Oh, yeah, she's number one. God bless her. She's
guilty. All right, Attorney Carter.
Well, absolutely. And, compared to Hawk Tour girl, remember Spit on That Thing girl? She got caught like a day.
Attorney
now,
Weiss.
Hawk Tour girl was cuter, but apparently Ruja/Raul is the one you want to go to learn how to do this.
Attorney Weiss.
Raul is not guilty. Ruja, she is.
All right, I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court. We're going to find this woman, man, or whatever, him, she, trans, guilty. Guilty is charged. All right, drop your verdicts in the chat, everyone, because guess what? You are the jury. All right, tonight we crossed the spectrum from political secrets to personal pain, from violent scandals to disappearing billionaires. One truth stood out: fame doesn't guarantee justice, and money doesn't guarantee innocence, and disappearing doesn't guarantee freedom. In the court of public opinion, every lie has a receipt, every scandal has a shadow, and every verdict comes from who? Our algorithms, you. I'm Judge Al Reynolds, and court is now adjourned, at least until the next headline drop. Everybody, thank you for watching, and have a good night.
Thank you for giving.